break it around the 90 degree. Those guys are out. Come on, bring it back. Circle. Look at your rear. Put your hand on the bottom. I'm just getting all this. And it keeps going on. I'm probably 20 minutes in, and I see Amy at the window, and then she goes. She's got her bikini on. Get out. So she hops in the driver's seat, whips it right around there, puts it right into the water, and I'm just like, oh, shame. And then, to make it worse, she pops the back window of the Yukon and just crawls over the back seat, hops out, crawls over the tongue of the trailer, hops up into the boat, reaches over, hooks down, unhooks the strap on the crank, and then starts the boat up and pulls out like this. And then she goes, "Hey, big boy, get your bathing suit on and I'll pick you up at the dock." And then she drives off to warm up the boat. We go skiing. And then she tells me to leave the trailer in the water, so it gets worse. So then when we drive up, she parks it up on there, hops up, hooks it up, jumps through the window, drives in, and pulls up and goes, "That's how it's done." And then I get to hear for the rest of the weekend and multiple weekends after that from the neighbors, "Hey, big boy, where's your little blonde girlfriend? Are you sure you can untangle that fishing pole by yourself?" That's our weed eater. "Oh, hey, big boy, where's your little blonde girlfriend?" So that worry about the widow, her goes. The widow with 3 children, completely fine by herself. So thankful she fit me into her life, and people in this room, my extended family, her extended family. But she does so much for me. I know. She's so strong, so much energy, and she focuses all that energy on friends and family. So drink the rest of the beer. But here's to Amy.
Yes.
Busy time here. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Love you. Cheers. That was sweet.
That was super sweet.
Well done.
Okay, Tanya, now we're ready for the rated R story. Come on. No, I said if John would have died.
If John would have died, it would have been.
Yeah, she would have become a whore.
I don't think that's true.
Okay, Amy, tell your stories.
I think we should end on
I have a story or two.
Oh, yeah.
I have a present or two also. I'm not as good at telling stories as Andy here, though, but I met Amy, well, we all love and adore Amy to the moon and back, but met Amy many, many years ago, more than half your life. But when I first met Amy, my first impression was a little different. I didn't really see the true Amy. When I first met her, I saw this Barbie doll in her fashion dresses, her bright red lipstick, her hair all done up perfectly, and her fashionable label brand shoes, and I just thought, wow, I don't know if I can keep up with this one, you know. But that wasn't the whole story, obviously. And I have a couple stories that kind of prove it otherwise. This beautiful Barbie doll wasn't the porcelain or China doll that I thought that would break, and this person has more grit and toughness than anyone. Anyone I've ever met in a bigger heart than anyone else. So, but just a couple of quick little stories that dispel that myth of this porcelain China doll. The first time I went water skiing with Amy was up at Brownlee, and we had a dog in the boat at the time.
Lucky Pete.
Or Lucky Pete, sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Listen, if you're not telling the story, you
This
don't
is your story.
Yeah, it was Lucky Pete. Had a dog in the boat that proceeded, and I thought I was tough. I lived in Alaska on a fishing ship for a couple of years and, you know, could handle a lot. This dog took a big old shit in the bottom of the boat, and it wasn't just a solid one. It was like a cow pie, you know, just a big old one, and I almost threw, I was turning, ready to throw up over the edge. I'm like, what the heck do you do? I mean, it smelled awful. Amy proceeds to get down on her hands and knees and scoops it up with her hands. And she throws it overboard. board, and then she didn't get it all the first time, so she got the rest of it. And I was just like, oh my God, this is not the person I met a week ago. Fashion class, so I brought Amy a little something to help her kind of scoop the shit in the future.
She would not do that now.
Oh, I don't know. I have some really fancy presents here. And the next one is, I think a lot of you have had the pleasure of running with Amy before. It's not as pleasurable as you might think of Susie and I.
Things you don't want to see.
Mine was not that bad. But she's tough. She's one tough cookie and hard to keep up with. You know, Susie and Amy and I were training for the San Diego Marathon years ago, and we'd all do our little training, you know, short little runs on our own, and then once a week meet together to do our big long ones. And we would head out at a great pace, you know, just we could talk and we could catch up, and it was so much fun. And then halfway through, we'd turn around and she would take it into double time. You know, all of a sudden it was like a horse going back to the barn. We're doing 7-minute miles or less, and we're like, I am dying, I can't keep up with her. When I went to her father's memorial this weekend, and I don't know if I'd heard this motto at the time, but you know, the brain tires quicker than the body. Well, she's a chip off the old block there, and obviously has incorporated that belief. To Susie and I's chagrin. But then one time, we'll see at the finish line in San Diego. One day we were running along, and she had just been to the dentist that morning and had a crown put in. All of a sudden, her tooth falls out on the ground, and she just goes, and I can't remember if she shoved it back in there or put it in her pocket. And I'm like, yeah, let's go home so you can go get that taken care of. She's like, oh no, I'm good. We'll keep running. I'm like, oh my God, a little something to keep things up.
You want to say?
Little fix it in.
Yeah.
She should have mentioned it was Chris Fenwick.
These are fancy. Some polygraph. Hopefully it doesn't come handy. And
What
then
is
the
it?
last one is
What's a
Brownlee. And if you've been to Brownlee, you know what a treasure it is. It's just a magical place where good times happen, and we spend all day together connecting and having the best time and making memories of a lifetime. But you know, when I first went, I guess I'd heard the cabin at Brownlee, and I thought, oh, it's like a cabin in McCall. And I heard, well, it's not fancy. And I'm like, well, I'm a tough chick, you know, I don't need fancy. It wasn't what I expected. You know? I was thinking rustic in McCall, maybe. It wasn't even rustic, but it was charming. But it was fun. You know, Aunt Amy comes to the door our first time there, and this fashion girl that I'd met not too long ago has a torn t-shirt, baggy sweats, and socks that don't match. I'm like, well, this is, what a nice twist on this. This is messy hair, and her hair was all over the place too. I'm like, well, I love this person. No red lipstick up there. And then realized that she, you know, cohabitates with little mice that she shares with her. We go on runs up in Brownlee along the gravel, hot, you know, in the heat of 100 degrees on the gravel runs. And we had to dodge rattlesnakes, literally dodging rattlesnakes. And Amy, just run around them, they're fine. I'm like, shit. Okay, and then when you water ski up there, I was always careful to stop where I didn't see a dead fish float next to me. Anyway, but it's such a special place. But I
We'll get a calendar out to you. I didn't mention the pack rats. Yeah, I think
just a few things. Some matching running socks, some socks and match, and some ice straps. But you know, they are the best, and I think Amy keeps everything in perspective. There was a quote I came across years ago that was inspired by Amy, that attitude is the difference between adventure and ordeal. You know, and she really makes everything an adventure, and you know, she's one that can turn lemons into lemonade, and it's so fun to always be with. Don't cry. But she is my mentor, and there was another, I guess just a saying about beauty that You know, the most beautiful things in life are things that you cannot see and you can't even touch, but you have to feel them in your heart. And I think Amy does that for all of us. You know, gives us that warm, loving feeling. And it doesn't matter what we wear, what you know, what the conditions are. It's that time that we spend together and what's in our heart that matters most.
What was it?
There were mice.
Oh, yeah, there were mine.
I don't know.
I slept outside.
Cheers, Amy. Cheers. Cheers.
Are you still recording?
Yeah.
I know you said not to bring presents, but I thought that was nice.
I know I was gonna talk, but I know
I this part of Andy's, which was really sweet. So.
Someday. You might get another round.
Do you need some? What do you want, Andy? Andy, what? What? Dogs.
Is that it? That's it.